Boy, everybody loves a good mock draft. And, hey, this one right here, let me know how y'all feel about this one. All right, so the first pick, we'll do the first picks up into the Cowboys, and then we'll go through the 5 draft picks that, they did over here on NFL.com. Now, first and foremost, they have Cam Ward going to the Tennessee. Shout out to Cam Ward going there. Got Travis Hunter going to the Browns. And then they got Shador going to the Giants. And people been saying that his stock done dropped and all of this stuff. But, hey, they got him going to the Giants. And Carter going to the Patriots. Shout out to them. They got them a good weapon out of that kid there, especially what they're going to be in line as it relates to defense. That's a good thing. Mason Graham going to Jacksonville. I would argue that they need more help on the offensive side to get things going with Trevor Law. But, hey, that's another story for a different day. Always good to draft an interior guy to help out defenses. All right, Ashton Genty.
Oh, my goodness.
He gone, yo. He gone to the Raiders. The Raiders of all teams, man. All right, and Jackson Dart, surprisingly, he's going to the Jets. Top 10 pick. That's my guy, Mississippi bound, baby. Tyler Warren, he's going to the Carolina Panthers, which would be a great thing. You got Xavier Leggett. Now you have him. And a quarterback to a tight end. This would be a great thing for them. And, of course, the tight end will always be a quarterback best friend, so that's good for Bryce Young. And then Jalen Walker goes to the Saints. Off-ball linebacker, can bend the edge, can do crazy good things for you as it relates to pass rush and as well as covering from hook to flat, can cover every blade of grass, which is good. Armand goes to the Bears. You need to block it up and keep everything up front for Caleb Williams, and this is a good pick for them. All right, Will Campbell. Oh, my goodness. He goes, and we just that close to getting the Will Campbell, but he goes to the 49ers. I will be very much in tune and intrigued of what really will happen with the 49er pick because they've been our nemesis, and now they get a chance and an opportunity to be right in front of us to draft. It's going to be crazy, but we all know that Trent Williams, he's long in the tooth. He's been the only guy that's on that front 5 that's been notable, right? And they still been pretty much top 10 in offense minus last season. So they get Will Campbell, unbelievable drop for him, but a good pick up for the 49ers. And then we get Ted. Falls right in to the mindset of what the Cowboys need ultimately. When you think of it from this aspect of it. You got CeeDee Lamb. You can line him up inside the slot or on the outside. You know that with Ted, his area will be on the outside. You can say, yeah, he may be just like a Mike Evans, right? Or he could be that guy that can pull the ball out of the sky, and it's not 50-50 balls. It's more like 70-30 balls, right? If you throw it up and just lob it his way. And even though he may not be a nuanced route runner, he do have short area quickness. And when you get into the red zone, money zone, green zone, you can literally say that this is an upgrade from what we've seen out of Jalen Brooks, right? No offense to the Jalens or Toberts, And this is an extreme upgrade over what we had last season as a collective in our wide receiver room. I wouldn't be mad if the Cowboys even double dip. We got 10 draft picks, so let that be known. Go get another one. But just after that, the Cardinals go with Kevin Banks, and Jihad Campbell goes to the Colts. And let me see, Will Johnson. Oh, man, that's a nice pickup for them. And Shamar Stewart, he's gone to the Cincinnati. Hey, Cincinnati, I'm tired of people saying that y'all don't have offensive linemen, et cetera. Y'all need to go pick up an offensive lineman. I'm tired of having Burrows out there with no O-line. They saying he's the greatest quarterback known to man, but he don't have an offensive line. Now you have Jamar Chase, he got Higgins, he got a nice running back, he got a nice tight end, he got all of these things, but he don't have an offensive line. Cincinnati, do the right thing. Get this man an offensive line. I don't want to hear the excuses of him not having an offensive line next season. All right, so it's going to skip right on ahead into the second round. Keep in mind, I'm watching the 49ers on what they're doing, right? They got my dog, Trey Amos. Shout out to him, one of my Mississippi boys. But then we get us a Trey, Vion Henderson. So we went with Tet and Trey. Those are our first two picks. Who's moving furniture around? Who's mad about that? Who's upset? Who's weary? You know, all of those things. Who's angry about Trayvon or Travion Henderson? You know, who's mad about that? And I like him. He can block. He can catch out of the backfield. To me, he's a more polished version of a Tony Pollard coming out of college. But the only reservations you may have is the fact that he may not be an every down back. He may be more of a split back. And excuse me, well, we got a lot of people in this running back room that can fit right on in with that philosophy and principle and plan. So that is good for us. I'm just mad that my guy Trey Amos is on the 49ers. But we got Travion Henderson, who should be able to do crazy things out in space. And let's switch over to the third draft pick. They went with Diggs over here for the 49ers, and we went with Seth. Now, this is one of those picks, whereas this is a developing situation. I don't foresee Seth starting year one, but it's a third-round draft pick, so you will have to contextualize that on how you would feel by us identifying the interior. This is the center. Maybe you can look at it and say, okay, all right, we draft him, you insert him, let him have that dog mind mentality, and you kick Cooper BB over to right guard, right? And now you say, hey, we good. We good on his offensive line, right? And this is a top 100 pick, and you identify an area where you build from the inside out on your trenches and things like that. Maybe that could work, but I'm looking for dynamic players now. I think that, you know, with our O-line, as much as we dogged them from last season, they still finished out in top 10 in overall offensive line play last season. That's weird, huh? Top 10 offensive line. They finished number 10. But neither here nor there. The fourth round draft pick, which we don't have because we kept giving them away, and I still just want to see where we would have been, right, in that fourth round. And the 49ers, they draft Dylan Sampson, who is really good for a fourth round found for them, you know. And you think about how they like to run the ball and how they like to throw those short to intermediate passes in the backfield. Dylan can do all of those things. And then with our pick, they went with the Carolina Panthers. They went with Elite, you know. So that would be a good situation to see whether or not Mingo would be as good as Elite, or Elite is just as good as Mingo. So we'll figure that out down the stretch and see whether or not that giving up that fourth round draft pick was worthy of giving it up. You get what I'm saying? But we got Mingo. So let's see what Mingo can do for the 2025, you know. And then for the fifth round draft pick for us, they did top 5. They did the fifth round mock draft, and they got us going with Tommy Hill. Now, Tommy Hill, he was hurt majority of last season with a foot situation, and sometimes when you think about that, ladies and gentlemen, it could be a pause for, hey, is he a hurt guy? You know, now when healthy, he's 6'1", right at 205-ish. He's a good physical DB, right? You just have reservations with Tommy on the aspect of, can he stay healthy? That's where I'm looking at with him. As far as Chicago Bears, Savion Jones, I kind of like him coming out of LSU. He's really good. Mitchell Evans, Notre Dame tight end, that's good stuff for them. as far as the 49ers. And then my guy Shamar Turner goes with the 150th pick. If it's me, I'd rather have Shamar Turner over Tommy Hill. That's just my thoughts, or Jaquez Hunter. I'll double dip at running back. I like DBs, but at the end of the day, I just not really fond of those who coming off of an injury and not giving me the results that I'm looking for. But to be fair to Tommy Hill, when healthy, he can ball a little bit. But those are the mock draft, 5-round mock draft from NFL.com. I'm happy with the first 2 picks. Kind of mad with the other ones, But when you are in the war room, it shouldn't be the peace room. Let me say this again. When you are in the war room, it shouldn't be a peace room. You should be banging the table saying, this is going to be the player that can change the way this franchise look, right? This is going to be the guy that can challenge and elevate the entirety of the room, right? This shouldn't be a peace room. It should literally be the war room. They shouldn't be high-fiving and butt-slapping everybody on this and that. They should be face-to-face, grit-to-grit, grind-to-grind for their mind, and really with the mindset of saying this guy can be an impact, a difference maker, etc. So that's what we're looking for in the war room, not a peace room when it's time to fight for the player. So you can make a good argument for Ted. You can make a great argument for Travion Henderson, right? And to a degree, the center self, you can make a great, compelling argument. But you better stand on business when it's time for the evaluation for your nation. DC for life, that's all the time that I have for this moment. Be sure to hit that like button, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's get it. Cowboy Nation, stand tall or not at all. Peace.